I'm in my 5th semester at Cornell and living my ideal college life. I'm playing board games and video games with friends. I'm having fun making passive income part-time as a content creator. I'm participating in club activities, sleeping well, eating healthily, and exercising regularly. You might be saying, "Hey Dong, how in goodness gracious are you doing this?" I got two words for you. A little bit of a stumble there. Lifestyle design. Lifestyle design is the art of creating and adapting the life that resonates most with you. This involves finding your values, your interests, and aligning them with your behaviors. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how to do lifestyle design yourself in college. But first, I'm gonna tell you my lifestyle design story because it's going to give you an understanding for why I'm so passionate about this topic. I used to be addicted to video games and YouTube like a fish is addicted to water. Every single day after school, I would go up to my room and boot up the computer, play for hours at a time. Total Warhammer 2, Terraria, Minecraft, name a video game, I've probably played it. During this height of this video game addiction, COVID started. And I looked in the mirror and decided I needed to lose 30 pounds. So I went on YouTube and searched up how to lose weight fast. Yeah, you could probably guess what happened. I started to go on the anabolic diet, which is diet where you eat as high protein and as low calorie as possible to artificially make yourself feel full and lose weight. My life became a cycle of eating at very intermittent times and playing video games. There was one point where I literally measured the time by how many video games I would have to play until I could eat again. So I would literally think, oh, 3 League of Legends games before I can have another meal. How sad is that? I reached this one point where I was sitting on my couch and so tired because I wasn't eating enough that I couldn't get up to go get a snack, even though it was time for me to. So I knew something needed to change. Something about my lifestyle was not allowing me to live happily. And that first spark of that change came when I watched a video by Ali Abdaal on building a second brain. This video talked about Tiago Forte's course, Building a Second Brain, which goes into how to build a personal knowledge management system that allows you to capture information over time, foster it, and then create things out of it. But there's one thing Ali Abdaal said about building a second brain that really stuck with me. He described building a second brain like playing a video game. And if there's one thing that I knew at that time, I was good at playing video games. So I made the process of building a second brain into my video game. I started to take notes inside of the note-taking app Obsidian after a whole bonanza journey from other note-taking apps, which we don't have to talk about. And through this process of taking notes, journaling every single day, connecting my learnings together, I began to fall back in love with learning. But something interesting happened as well. From journaling, writing down my sensations, feelings, and thoughts every single day, I began to notice consistencies in the activities that brought me joy and the activities that made me want to die, to put it aptly. Then I realized, why don't I schedule more activities in my calendar that I love and reduce the amount of stuff that I despise? Genius idea, I know. But once I realized that, I gave it a name. I called this process lifestyle design. And I began to do regular review and planning. I would sit down, go through my journal entries from the last few days, and find consistencies in the stuff that brought me joy, the stuff that brought me down. And then I would try and make sure I did more of the stuff that brought me up and less of the stuff that brought me down. I started expanding this over a broader time horizon. I did, instead of just daily, I did weekly, monthly, quarterly, and finally yearly. And through this whole holistic process, I began to create my ideal college life. I began to do lifestyle design. And that was my story. Now, for the rest of this video, I want to talk about why you should do lifestyle design, as well as how you can get started, because this is real life-changing stuff. This is the ritual that I wish I had started 3 years ago when I was playing video games and anabolic dieting, because it would have changed so much about my life. I wouldn't have had to go through hell for a year. So why should we practice lifestyle design? Firstly, it makes us more joyful because we align values with action. The definition of integrity to me is when your behaviors and your values are aligned. And human beings do not feel good when our values and our actions don't align. The reason I felt so bad during my anabolic dieting and video gaming addictions was not just because I was not eating enough, I was tired, I was spending too much time playing video games. It's because I thought of myself as someone that valued relationships, that valued health, that valued hard work. But the behaviors that I was doing did not align with that. I was playing video games, I was eating unhealthily, healthy food I thought, but unhealthful lifestyle. So I didn't feel good. And lifestyle design helps you figure out what your values are so that you can behave in alignment with them. Secondly, it helps us make better decisions. Your decisions are made based off of the values that you have. So if you don't know what your values are, what metric are you using to make your decisions? Lifestyle design helps you figure out what your values are so that you can make decisions based off of those. And finally, it allows us to experience the fresh start effect more often. The fresh start effect is a psychological phenomenon in which we feel super motivated to do something when we feel like we have a fresh start in it. So think the new year or your birthday. Now, the problem is most people only experience the fresh start effect during those 2 times. That is 2 times during the entire year that you're experiencing this phenomenon. What if we could experience it every single week? That's what lifestyle design helps you do, because every time you go into your next week, your next month, your next quarter, your next year, you feel like it's a fresh start. It gives you this amazing drive and motivation to do all the new goals that you've set out for yourself. And fourth and finally, most importantly, we should practice lifestyle design because we are self-deceptive mother effers, no swearing on this channel. We're self-deceptive. And we know this because of Daniel Gilbert's phenomenal book, Stumbling Upon Happiness. The 3 main ideas from that book are our past memories are false, our perceptions of the present are skewed, and our imaginations of the future are often wrong. Why is that? Well, our memories of the past are false because we don't remember things in full video cinematography. Imagine how much space that would take in your brain if you were just like recording video software, just like, look, I would remember everything about this recording, which I'm enjoying it, but I wouldn't want to. We take snapshots for our memories of the peak and the end of an experience. So when we remember stuff, we remember things falsely. And every time we retrieve a memory, we remember it differently as well. So the time that you went to the zoo to see all the animals during a sunny day becomes just the ice cream that you had during the sunny day and the panda that you saw, instead of all the animals that you saw that were kind of boring. So our memories of the past are false. Our perceptions of the present are skewed because everyone has different genetics, different backgrounds, different educations, different everything, which literally makes us perceive the present differently. You and I could take the exact same stimuli and perceive them differently. And finally, our imaginations of the future are often wrong. In the book, Daniel shows how when we imagine the future, we often project our present state onto it. So if we're feeling really hungry at the grocery market, for instance, we're just ravenous. We're like, we could eat an entire cow. We'll buy way more than we usually would just because we are hungry in the present. Our present self state extrapolates itself into the future in a way that isn't good. So taking this all to account, our memories of the past are false, our perceptions of the present are skewed, and our imaginations of the future are often wrong. How does this relate to lifestyle design? Reason it relates is that by writing our sensations, our feelings, our thoughts in a journal, we can crystallize how we sensed, felt, and thought during an experience, which allows us to take away the self-deceptive nature of it, right? If we know that our memories of the past are going to be false, our perceptions of the present are going to be skewed, and our imaginations of the future are wrong, having crystallized writing for what we sensed, felt, and thought during an experience helps us overcome that. It helps us see the consistencies in the activities that we didn't like over time, the activities that we loved over time, so we can overcome that self-deceptive nature. Going through life without knowing your values, without doing this type of journaling, is like being Sisyphus in the Greek myth. You're constantly rolling a rock up a hill, but you're getting nowhere. You keep falling back down and having to go up again because you don't know what your values are. If you don't know what your values are, anything that you're gonna be doing has the potential to be worthless, if not outright bad, because they don't align with your values. So we need to learn more about ourselves so that we can overcome our self-deception and create our ideal life. How do we learn more about ourselves now that we know all that? Firstly, we can practice mindfulness through meditative and contemplative practices. Most people, if they sit by themselves in a room, can't do it for more than 10 minutes without agonizing about not having their phone. So the ability to sit by yourself, to just be, is one of the most profound ways that you can learn more about yourself. You'll be able to see what thoughts come up when nothing else has happened, when all the distractions of life are stopped. And it's essential that when you do this, you do not bring your phone with you, you don't bring another person, you just be. I did this last semester at college when I went on a 9-hour walk without my phone. That was transformative. I was just by myself for 9 hours. And if that sounds scary to you, good. It should be scary, because if it's not, you're probably distracting yourself in a way to get rid of your thoughts and ignore them. So that's one great way to learn more about yourself. The second is through life experimentation. This comes with treating your life through the lens of a scientist. Literally coming up with hypotheses for what you might not enjoy doing based off of what you know you already enjoy, what you know you already don't enjoy, and then testing those hypotheses. Do you like partying? Go party. Experiment. Don't do it just once, do it a few times, do it in different states, do it with different people, do it in a different time. That's how you're gonna figure out if that hypothesis is correct. The more you learn about yourself, the easier it's gonna be to come up with hypotheses because you have more evidence. Slowly, you're gonna be able to accrue number of activities you know you enjoy doing and a number of activities you know you don't enjoy doing. And then you can start building more of those activities you know you enjoy and getting rid of the ones you know you don't. Then third and finally, we have journaling, which is one of my favorites. I personally do journaling inside of Obsidian, where I write down sensations, feelings, thoughts that I have during my day. I don't write down everything. I think journaling is very hard to put down to a specific science because what works for me might not work for you. It's very personal. But one of my favorite ways to journal is writing from reflection questions that I have in my daily review template in Obsidian. And those reflection questions are the same every day. Sometimes I have changed them over time when I've gotten inspired to do a specific question. One good example is, what was the most story-worthy moment of the day? Then, like, what significant things happened today? What was your best learning? What crazy dream did you have? Just anything I want to write down, I can. And then I take this up a level by doing weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly reflection and planning. And during those reviews, I go through my daily journals or my weekly journals, my monthly, my quarterly, and I look for consistencies. I write down what my most story-worthy moment was, if it's the week or the month. I write down what my most enjoyable moment was of the week, if it's the week. And I answer all these questions level by level, the higher up I go. So for the quarter, it's all the quarter. For the month, it's all the month. For the week, it's all the week. And this allows me to spot those consistencies over time that I might not be spotting when I'm looking only on the day-to-day. Alongside these reviews, I also have some highest value journaling questions. These are questions that I have collected over time that I know are incredibly valuable to ask every now and then. Questions that really rock your world when you answer them. And the reason I think it's so important to answer these regularly is if we don't force ourselves to do it, we often won't do it. And a lot of the time, we think we don't have to, but once we've actually done the review, we realize there was a lot we had to think about. During some of my quarterly review sessions, the best stuff doesn't come until the 4th hour. I remember last quarterly review I did, I was at a coffee shop, Flour and Salt in Hamilton. And for the first 4 hours, the gold stuff didn't come out. But it was only after the 4th hour when I answered the journaling question, what should I stop doing? That my world completely changed. Because I realized I should stop aiming for straight A's in college and rather B's. Because content creation is more important to me than getting straight A's. And that realization only came out after 4 hours of journaling. So we often don't think we have to do it, but we should. Last thing I do with these journaling questions is I have slowly built out this note in Obsidian called Who Am I Note, which is a note that holds all of my values, my biggest role models, my favorite ideas, my 12 favorite questions, my wins, all this stuff that is meant to showcase who I am. And it might seem silly, like why are you writing down who you are? But I'm of the belief that our self is ever changing. I see the self as a verb rather than a noun, similar to the ancient Buddhist philosophy. And because of that, we need to be changing this who am I note as we change. We need to have regular time where we consider if our self is no longer the self that we thought it was. Think about the first semester coming to college. If you are a college student, you probably changed so much in that amount of time. Your self is not rigid, it is fluid, it is changing all the time. It changes from the people that you're around, the environment that you're in, information you consume. So we need to have a note that can track that change so that we aren't scared when that change comes. That's where the Who Am I note's really helpful. Once we've learned more about ourselves, we have that Who Am I note, how do we implement our learnings? This is where the daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly journaling shows its power even more. Because once you know what your values are, you can begin to define a vision that you can pursue that allows you to behave in alignment with those. Define goals, routines, habits, rituals that can help you pursue that direction. Plan how to actionalize those things in your life by time blocking, building a task list, etc. Create and implement those goals, habits, rituals, whatever, into your calendar and start doing them. Reflect on your progress during your daily, weekly, monthly, yearly reviews and iterate as you change. As you learn more and more about yourself, create an ideal week, an ideal month, an ideal quarter inside of your calendar and try and reflect that inside of the things that you do as much as possible. Now, I know all of that might be a little overwhelming. It's a lot to take in, but luckily you don't have to do it on your own. You can get started with lifestyle design to create your ideal college life by checking out my lifestyle design toolkit in the description below. In it, you're gonna find all of my daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly reviews, templates for Obsidian, as well as for inside of Notion. It's your choice. You're going to find my highest value journaling questions, which I've collected from reading tons of books and journaling for a long time, like Mark Champagne's Personal Socrates, Daily Rituals, and more. And you're also gonna have help along the way from me with writing to help you integrate it into your life. Can't emphasize this enough. You gotta actionalize what you learn in this video if you're going to take away anything from it. Lifestyle design is the single most powerful ritual I've ever ingrained into my life. And now you're gonna get boosted if you take the lifestyle design toolkit. So please sign up in the description below. It is not gonna do anything if you just leave the video and don't do anything about it. If you wanna keep living unconsciously and go about your life without knowing what your values are, be my guest. But this is real life-changing stuff. So that's gonna do it for the video. As always, have a great rest of your day. Eat some peanut butter, and bye-bye.